On the morning of July 31st, 2022, Ayman al-Zawahiri, the leader of Al-Qaeda and one of the most wanted men on earth, stepped onto the balcony of his safe house in downtown Kabul. He was drinking tea. He was alone. And then, in the blink of an eye, he was gone. And here is the mystery that baffled the world the hours following the strike. Neighbors did not hear a massive explosion. What they heard was a loud thud like a heavy hammer hitting the ground. His family, sitting in the living room just a few feet away, was completely unharmed. The building did not collapse. There was no crater in the street. You see, normally, a Hellfire missile turns a building into dust and a car into a burning wreck. But this wasn't a normal missile. It did not carry a warhead filled with high explosives. It did not use fire to kill. It carried something much older. It carried swords. This is the Hellfire R9X, known in the Black Ops world as the Flying Ginsu, or the Ninja Missile. It is a weapon designed to solve seemingly impossible physics problem. How do you kill someone in a crowded city without scratching the person standing right next to them? The answer: you remove the bomb and replace it with cold, hard steel. To understand the genius of this weapon, we first have to understand the limitation of traditional warfare. You see, for 100 years, the equation of war was simple. Bigger boom equals better kill. A standard Hellfire missile carries a 20-pound warhead of chemical high explosives. When it detonates, it creates a kill radius. It relies on overpressure and fragmentation. This is effective on battlefield, but in a city, it is a liability. If the target is driving his kids to school or standing on a crowded balcony, you cannot fire. The blast wave does not discriminate. And so engineers at the CIA and Pentagon did something radical. They took the explosives out. Inside the R9X, the chemical warhead is replaced by a solid block of inert metal, likely tungsten or hardened steel, weighing roughly 100 pounds. This turns the missile into a 100-pound anvil falling from the sky at Mach 1.3, which is 1,000 miles per hour. It relies entirely on kinetic energy. Even without a single gram of gunpowder, a dense metal object moving at supersonic speed carries a catastrophic amount of energy. It hits with the force of a speeding freight train concentrated into the size of a dinner plate. If the missile body hits the target, the impact alone vaporizes them. Physics takes over. Biological matter simply cannot withstand the transfer of that much momentum in that short a time frame. But relying on a bullet approach has a flaw. You have to be perfect. You see, if the target moves 6 inches to the left, the inert missile might just punch a hole in the floor next to them. You need a margin of error. You need to widen the kill box without creating a blast radius. And this is where the Ginsu nickname comes from. Deployed milliseconds before impact, a ring of 6 long blades springs out from the fuselage of the missile. Keep in mind, these aren't kitchen knives. They are heavy-duty aerodynamic steel fins, each roughly 18 inches long. They act like a giant supersonic broadhead arrow. Their purpose is gruesome but practical: to cut through obstacles. If you look at the classified photos leaked from strikes in Syria or Yemen, you will see the signature starfish pattern cut through the roof of the car. The blades are strong enough to slice through the sheet metal of a car roof, the structural pillars, the engine block, and even concrete floors. They ensure that anyone inside the vehicle is neutralized, not by heat or pressure, but by massive physical trauma. It turns the missile into a flying meat grinder. Now, you might be wondering, why go such extreme lengths to build a missile that does not explode? Well, the simple answer is, the R9X was born out of political necessity. You see, during the early years of the drone war, the primary criticism against the US was the collateral damage. While high-explosive Hellfires were killing terrorists, they were also killing families, neighbors, and bystanders. And what commanders needed was a weapon with 0 CDE, Collateral Damage Estimation. They needed a weapon they could fire at the passenger seat of a car while leaving the driver alive, if necessary, of course. They started by using concrete-filled bombs in Iraq, but those were inaccurate. They needed the guidance of the Hellfire with the precision of a sniper rifle. The R9X was developed in extreme secrecy. It was rumored to exist for years before it was ever confirmed. When photos of Kia sedan in Syria appeared in 2017, with a hole in the roof but the windshield intact, military analysts were baffled. How could a car be destroyed from the sky without being burned? That's when the Ninja missile had officially entered the room. Beyond the physics, the R9X has a devastating psychological effect on the enemy. In traditional warfare, you fear the loud noise, you fear the explosion. However, this weapon is silent until the very last millisecond. And more importantly, it makes human shields obsolete. You see, terrorist leaders often tend to surround themselves with women and children, knowing that militaries won't fire high-explosive missile if civilians are in the blast zone. The R9X removed that insurance policy entirely. A terrorist can be surrounded by a group of people while leaving everyone else unscathed. This creates a sense of paranoia. There is no safety in numbers anymore. The sword can easily pick you out of a crowd. The R9X represents a strange loop in the history of warfare. Thousands of years ago, we fought with swords and arrows. Then we invented gunpowder. We built bombs, artillery, and nukes to make the destruction bigger, louder, and wider. And now, at the absolute peak of our technological power, we have gone back to the sword. Except now, the sword is laser-guided, rocket-powered, and dropped from 25,000 feet by a pilot sitting in a container in Nevada. It is technically a humanitarian advance, a weapon designed to save innocent lives. However, there is something undeniably terrifying about it. It is a personal, intimate weapon delivered by a robot. It doesn't blow you up, it hunts you down. So, the next time you see a picture of a car with a star-shaped hole in the roof, remember, the age of the explosion is over, and the age of the flying Ginsu has begun. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.